to the 2020 Salute to Denver7 Everyday Heroes. I'm Molly Hendrickson. This year has been tough on nonprofits, but many of you have stepped up to show your dedication to the organizations that do so much to help those in need in Colorado. People like Lawrence Kenyon.
At the Lawrence Street Community Center,
Hey guys,
each guest is met with the warm smile of Lawrence Kenyon.
He's just a sweetheart. You know, we love him here.
He has become the resident volunteer around the rescue mission, serving breakfast and lunch to our area homeless 4 days a week.
He'll come in around 6:30, hang out through breakfast, and then he'll come back around 10:30 and spend the time with us through lunch as well.
What's more impressive than his dedication are the challenges he overcomes. Lawrence was born with the umbilical cord wrapped around his neck. The lack of oxygen left him with cerebral palsy.
I've been a fighter ever since then. I'm always trying to prove myself to other people. I should be proving to myself that I can do things. And I don't really let anything get in my way.
His determination is needed more than ever. When the pandemic hit, the need for services skyrocketed. They went from serving 1,500 people a day to more than 1,800. And many volunteers dropped off, but not Lawrence.
When they come in to get their food, you can see their eyes light up at how appreciative they are and everything else. It's really heartwarming.
Overcoming adversity while serving his community, all the makings of a Denver7 everyday hero.
Many of the heroes we honored in 2020 were just doing what they did before the pandemic. As many of you know, Parkinson's disease can turn a person's world upside down. But heroes like Jerry Highland remind us there is hope and a team of support.
Ready, set. You never know what's ahead of you.
Jerry Highland knows the power of a good attitude, even when facing the worst of fates.
As long as there's a will, there's a way.
9 years ago, a heartbreaking diagnosis taught her we don't always get to choose our path, only the way we travel down it.
When I was diagnosed with Parkinson's in 2011, I didn't know what to expect. My family and I were really devastated.
Parkinson's is devastating. The neurological disease often starts with a tremor. Over time, it steals a person's ability to walk and talk. Instead of wallowing, Jerry turned to the Parkinson Association of the Rockies.
I think within the first year of diagnosis, most people tend to kind of hunker down and put their head in the sand. But the quicker they can come out of that and work and be a part of the community.
For Jerry, that meant getting involved. She began volunteering for the association, putting together welcome packets. But it was the association's annual Vitality Run where she found both support and a way to give back.
It's very personal to me. I have the disease. I want to be able to give back. I want to be able to contribute as long as I can do it.
Each June, she and her closest friends throw on their costumes and walk to raise both awareness and money. She's raised thousands of dollars in the 6 years she's been walking.
Jerry is amazing. She is so full of energy and life. She hasn't let Parkinson's slow her down one bit.
For Jerry, this path will only get harder. There is no cure for Parkinson's, only hope that through research and awareness, there will be one day.
I think it's an obligation to give back when you can.
There are multiple benefits to learning to ride a horse. It teaches coordination, builds muscle strength and confidence. And our next Denver7 everyday hero uses the healing power of horses to help a special group of people.
Let me see you very gently put your arms up to the side like an airplane.
Watching 12-year-old Abigail.
And we're gonna twist left and right. Very good.
Mom can't help but notice her life-changing strides.
I feel like she's more herself than she ever has been.
Once crippled by anxiety, the preteen is now commanding, confident, and taking the reins of life.
When she started equine therapy, she was pretty much non-functioning, and equine therapy has really helped her build her confidence, learn how to identify her emotions, and just has really helped her kind of like re-enter like a normal kid life.
And she's done it with the help of the Right Step and volunteers like Debbie DeSantis.
Okay, now big muscles and pull this one down.
Debbie has been volunteering at the ranch for the last 7 years. The Right Step gives riding lessons to kids and adults with emotional, developmental, and physical disabilities.
We work with a variety of different disabilities. Most of our clients are on the autism spectrum, Horses are wonderful for working with everyone.
Good girl.
Debbie provides a steady hand for these young riders, helping them build physical and emotional strength and face their fears head on.
There's students that come here that have no strength and they can't even hold themselves up. And there's progression over the years where they're able to walk and walk up the stairs all by themselves to get on the horse, where they started on the ramp.
When she's not in the arena, she's taking care of it 5 days a week.
The people that volunteer here have given me like a new faith in humanity.
Whether it be faith or a newfound confidence, nobody leaves the right step the same as they came in.
This program has given me as much as maybe I've given it.
For pet rescue teams, part of the challenge is transporting animals from terrible conditions and bringing them to places like Colorado for a better life. Everyday hero David Beatty has a high-flying solution.
I am excited! Yay! New puppy!
For this story, we begin at the end.
Oh, they're gonna be so cute too.
Of a very long flight for perhaps one of the cutest flight crews to touch down at the Centennial Airport.
They are so adorable.
That is David Beatty, a retired pilot who now flies for the Underdog.
I've always liked dogs, and I read about it, and I thought, well, it'd be a fun thing to do.
For 4.5 years, Beatty has volunteered for Pilots and Paws Pet Rescue. The nonprofit connects volunteer pilots with rescue organizations. Twice a month, he uses his own plane to fly rescue dogs across the country to a better future.
He does it all on his own dime, and it's very expensive. It's probably at least $1,000 in fuel each time he does this.
This delivery comes from Oklahoma, and it was a full flight.
We had 26 dogs. That's a record for me. A lot of them were puppies, but a lot of those puppies are really pretty big, 15 to 20 pounds, so it took up a lot of room. We were maxed out on space.
And while these guys are cute and cuddly, for Beatty, there's just something about the old mutts.
Recently, I've sort of changed my focus. We pick up a lot of puppies, but I've been giving to senior dog rescues. I feel so sorry for older dogs. They've served their families well. They've been wonderful dogs, and they get old and need attention, medical attention, and they just throw them away.
But thanks to Beatty, this story has a much better ending and beginning.
In the hands of an expert, anything can turn into a thing of beauty. And our next Everyday Hero honors veterans by carving out a small token of thanks from his woodworking shop in Loveland.
The secret is keep these things sharp.
When you meet Bob Scott, the first thing you notice is his big, jovial laugh. Second only to his character and the love he holds for our country's veterans.
There's nothing you can do good enough to recognize a vet, as far as I'm concerned.
It's why he spends hours here in his woodworking shop, carving out a small way to show his big appreciation.
I can sit down and carve and think about how much time they spent away from home in the service, and really nobody at home cares. They deserve notice. They don't get much.
For the past 4 years, Bob has been making canes and giving them away to our country's veterans. It's a tall task for an 88-year-old with arthritis, but don't tell him that.
I spend all day looking for at least 40 8-foot sticks, and I cut these down to 36 inches, whatever, and then I bring them home. It takes me about 4 hours to make one ready to go.
To date, he's given away more than 150 of his creations, each one unique and handmade, marked with the words, "Walk with Bob."
I don't know anybody that's done more than Bob for people he doesn't know.
That's Rod Koberstein. He received one of Bob's canes a few years ago.
He's carved two faces, he's carved houses, and of course he always puts "Walk with Bob" on the cane.
So did Charlie Nash.
It's a place of honor in my house. It's special, very special.
The meaning is not lost on these old-timers, just as it's never been lost on Bob.
Let us know if you know someone who should be a Denver7 Everyday Hero. You can nominate them at thedenverchannel.com.
People need something to do right now.
Many people are finding new hobbies during the pandemic. After the break, how one hero is helping others find their musical calling.
Are you naturally a musical person? Are you?
You obviously haven't seen me play.
And later, a hero who is helping kids get off their phones and into nature.
What we do is we tickle her a little bit to get her to come out.
Welcome back to our tribute to Denver7 Everyday Heroes. When the pandemic started, it silenced our music venues. That was tough for all musicians, including performers in the Rocky Mountain Ukulele Orchestra. That is, until a local music man proved he's an everyday hero.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Years ago, Gary Ugert found love at a secondhand music shop.
I bought a ukulele at a secondhand store, and there weren't any books or classes back in those days, so I had to teach myself how to play the ukulele. And then it turns out that's a very fun and exciting instrument that you can share with other people.
He began teaching lessons, even opened up a ukulele repair shop.
Are you naturally a musical person? Are you?
You obviously haven't seen me play. No, I'm not naturally a musical person at all. I didn't start music seriously until I was 35.
Still, in 2012, he created the Rocky Mountain Ukulele Orchestra.
All ukuleles, yes. For real.
A huge hit until the pandemic silenced the 100 or so musicians in March.
We instantaneously could not meet anymore, and so several of us decided, hey, what are our alternatives for getting the group together? And we tried all of the various platforms, and the problem was there's a tiny bit of lag on Zoom classes, and because we play instrumental ensemble music, it doesn't work without post editing. And so I said, well, why don't we meet on YouTube?
And that is how this silver lining came to be.
Hey everybody, let me know, is the sound good?
Each morning he heads to his spare bedroom where people from all over the world log on for his lessons.
98% people 55 and older, and I am 87% women, so the grandmas are logging in.
He's become such a hit, he now teaches 6 45-minute classes every day.
You're not making money.
No, it's just free. Yeah, it's free.
Why do you do it?
I just love it.
His students will tell you this is about so much more than making music.
It's just such a good social outlet. I retired about 1.5 years ago, so I don't see my work friends anymore. It's been a real good social thing for me.
This may not be the orchestra these musicians envision, but thanks to Gary, it's certainly become everything they've needed.
People need something to do right now. They need quality education musically. It's hard to get right now, and I think with the challenges that music teachers are facing in the regular education, why not do it?
Some heroes find their calling at a young age. Our next Denver7 everyday hero is just a teenager, and she's already helping kids with autism reach new heights.
For 12-year-old Amber,
Big step!
every inch up the wall
Big step, there you go.
is cause for great celebration.
Nice job.
And Bella Carter is her biggest cheerleader.
Oh, look at you. You're doing so good. What about right here? Perfect.
The pair met through Autism Climbs. Bella, a volunteer for the nonprofit, teaches kids like Amber how to rock climb.
Kids with autism can actually be fantastic climbers. And I want that self-esteem that they have been, that has been chipped away on by just working on their weaknesses so much. I want that self-esteem boosted.
But because of the coronavirus, she and founder Yisha Wagner are making house visits, bringing this mobile climbing wall to families with high-risk kids.
With this wall, I'm sad that I can't visit everybody.
Bella shares a special bond with these kids. Her 7-year-old brother Cameron is also autistic. She's watched his confidence soar with life-changing moments like this.
That was awesome. High five! I cried. I cried like a baby because it was really, really emotional. He had been working on it for a really long time, and he was so happy when he reached the top, and he now has no problem with it. And I could see the light in his eyes and the light go off in his head of like, oh, I can do this. I love meeting wonderful souls like Cameron and like all these other kids that I help.
Sadly, our next everyday hero never got a chance to see his story on Denver7. Coach Nate Obie lost his battle with cancer just before the story aired. Coach Obie's legacy dates back to the 1960s. Countless young men say he played a role in their development, both on and off the field.
If life success is measured by the lives you've impacted,
this is probably not even half of it.
Then this longtime baseball coach has hit a home run.
Nate was pretty much the guy that inspired a lot of us to coach as adults, and in my opinion, one of the best coaches that's ever coached me in any sport.
Coach Nate is a legend around Aurora's ballparks. For more than 50 years, he's been coaching youth sports, most recently for the Arapahoe Little League.
Everybody always talked about him. When my first year playing baseball, everybody wanted to play for him.
Obie's love of baseball was born watching Harry Carey and the Gas House Gang. But in 1963, his passion shifted from playing the sport to coaching it.
And I used to see coaches how they was yelling at kids, screaming at kids and all that stuff. And I thought that I could do better. And so I felt that maybe I could make a difference.
And boy, did he ever. His dedication earned him countless championship titles. Arapahoe County named its clubhouse after him. He even earned a spot in Colorado's Youth Sports Hall of Fame.
I learned that the game wasn't for me. It wasn't for the fans. It was for the kids.
Welcome back. Resilient doesn't even begin to describe our next Denver7 everyday hero. When life gave her every reason to give up, she found a little piece of hope with a new purpose.
These were made probably from bed sheets.
Corey Hoppler will be the first to tell you she's no seamstress. But when the pandemic brought the need for more PPE, this nurse answered that call.
I read the CDC guidance and noticed that one of the things that they recommended doing was using cloth gowns as isolation gowns instead of our traditional paper ones, which are disposable. And so I just put a call out there on Facebook if anyone knew how to sew and could help start creating these gowns, and it kind of exploded from there.
And that's how Sew It for COVID was born, a place where crafters could come together to make much needed gowns and masks.
We did get people from actually all over the world joining the group and sharing patterns and tips and tricks.
People like Ginny Conahan.
So when I saw this, I said, oh, this is for me. This is exactly what I want to do. And so I joined it, and it was so beautifully organized.
Together, the volunteers made and donated more than 5,000 masks and hundreds of caps and gowns.
I originally started doing parking lot pickups where I would just open my trunk and people would dump stuff in, but it was getting to be too much. Every pickup my car was completely full.
But as this full-time nurse and mother of 4 helped a world in crisis, she was in the middle of a heartbreaking battle at home. Her husband was nearing the end of an all-out war on cancer.
He would help out, and so, it kind of gave him something to do as well. So it was a difficult time, and he passed away in July.
When you see somebody in the community just really rowing the boat, especially at their own expense, it means so much. I mean, it's really, it's incredible.
There is no doubt life can be messy and painful, but for Corey, this has been a gentle reminder of the human spirit and just how resilient it is.
What an amazing community we have here in northern Colorado.
Our final Denver7 everyday hero has made it his mission to get kids off of their phones and tablets and instead spend more time outside. What Gary Gannon hopes they will do instead is focus on the butterflies.
Butterflies don't eat, they drink. You can see their little proboscis.
At Broomfield's Butterfly Pavilion, curiosity is taking flight.
This plant right here is called an angel's trumpet.
And for 16 years, Gary Gannon has been there to foster it.
Gary's one of our superheroes. He's really one of our superstars.
Now this butterfly, when it opens up, it'll be all blue.
He is more or less the story keeper of this mini animal kingdom. He teaches kids and adults about invertebrates and how these small but mighty creatures are vital to the world we live in.
I like to interject every once in a while if a kid's looking at something. You know, I'll ask them a question about that. So I like giving information as much as I can.
But it's his relationship with Rosie that he's become best known for.
What we do is we tickle her a little bit to get her to come out.
Yes, that is Rosie.
Isn't she an awesome little creature?
She is pretty cool.
A Chilean tarantula who is always a visitor hit.
One day a guy came in with his son who's about 6 years old. And of course his son right away wanted to hold Rosie. And I asked the dad and he said, not in my lifetime, I'm not holding her. About an hour later he came back and he said, okay, I'm going to hold her. So I put it on his hand and she pooped in his hand.
Having a place like Butterfly Pavilion where they can go out and walk amongst butterflies and really explore nature and really get to understand nature, especially with a guy like Gary guiding them and helping them truly understand what's going on, makes that intimate connection that lasts forever.
And that is the work of a hero.
And don't forget, if you know someone who you think should be a Denver7 Everyday Hero, let us know. You can nominate them at thedenverchannel.com. I look forward to bringing more incredible stories of people helping their communities in the new year. From all of us here at Denver7, thank you for watching.